The sequence of learning and practicing Iyengar Yoga, week 9. The key points of today's practice is to look at Urdhva Sirsasana one more time, and this time how to learn to lift the leg so that we can finally lift ourselves off and go either using a wall, but today we're not going up the wall. We're just learning the action of lifting one leg and still balancing on our head. The other parts of the practice will also include some seated poses. If you have noticed, we started with a lot of standing poses, and then we've done inversions and dandasana, the forward extensions like Janushirshasana. But in addition, there are also a few seated poses which basically help us to gain mobility on the knees, the ankles, the hips. And in this sequence, we will be looking at a few of the preliminary basic seated poses such as Upavistha Konasana, then Gomukhasana, which is a slightly different formation of the legs, and also the position we take in the first twist, seated twist that we will be doing, which is Bharadvajasana. However, the actual twisting of the torso will come next week. For today, we are looking at just the leg aspect of the practice. So let us begin. As always, find a comfortable, steady seat. Place the hands close to the sides of the body. Press your fingertips down. Lift the waistline. Lift the sides of the armpit chest up. Take your outer shoulders back. Bring your upper arms closer towards the body and press the shoulder blades into the back. It's important that we keep our shoulder blades moving into the back rather than kind of flaying out in this manner. So once more, let's repeat that. Press your fingertips down. Press into the surface that you're seated on. Lift the waistline. Lift the armpit chest. Take the outer shoulders back. Bring your upper arms a little closer towards the upper body and move the shoulder blades into the back. Look straight and then keep this lift and length of the torso as you bring the hands in Namaskarasana at the center of your chest. Now keep the upright spine. Slowly close your eyes and draw your attention into the body. At first, just begin to observe the natural flow of breath, the sensations of the hands touching each other, of you sitting evenly on the mat, and equally lifting the right and left side of the spine. And as always, we begin the practice with 3 Oms and the invocation to Patanjali. So take a nice, long, slow, deep inhalation. Yogena chitasya padena vacham malam sharirasya chavaidakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi abahu purushakaram Shankachakra Siddharinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim Harihi Om. Now keeping the lift and length of your spine, gently lower your head down. Release the hands, place them back on your legs. Opening your eyes, lift your head up. Let's come up into standing. We start in Samasthiti. So position yourself on the center of the mat. Join the big toes. See that your feet are well aligned. Evenly press the bottom of the feet down. Bring your outer shins in, bring your outer thighs in. Move the frontal thigh bones back towards the back of the thighs. Lift the waistline, lift the side chest. Take your outer shoulders back, slightly spreading the upper arms away from the body to create space. And then keeping the shoulders back, move the shoulder blades into the back. Look straight, stretch your elbows, knees straight. Pause here for a few moments in Tadasana. Urdhva Hastasana. So keeping the pressure of the feet pressing down into the mat, start to stretch your arms straight in front of you. Lengthen the elbows, spread the fingers, and with an inhalation, go ahead and lift and stretch your arms up. The arms not only begin at the shoulder, so you almost take your attention right here at the base of your ribs, the bottom ribs, and try to lift that space up. And then take your attention to the side armpit chest and extend upwards. Keep lifting from the waistline, stretching from the outer upper arms. Straighten your elbows, and from the elbow joint, stretch up all the way to the little finger. You want to really use the arms to lift and lengthen the torso. At the same time, remember that we want the outer shoulders to the deltoids to come forward, not the other way, where the inner shoulders have to move back to the wall behind you and outer shoulders come forward. Now slowly release and bring your hands down. Trikonasana. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. By now you should know the distance. This is Utthita Hasta Padasana, the base of all standing poses. Let's start with the right side. Turn your right leg out completely. Remember to turn the knee, the thigh, the foot. Turn your left toe slightly in. Pressurize the outer edge of the heel. Maintain the lift and length of your spine. And then extending the whole right side of the body. We'll also pay attention to this armpit. We kind of looked at it when we were doing Urdhva Hasta San. So then we take our hands down. Hold on to your shin. Lift the top arm up. Be firm on the outer edge of your left foot. Press it strongly down. Keep your left thigh back. Don't let the left hip drop. Lift the left hip. Turn from the right waistline to the left. Right armpit chest to the left. And reach up with your left upper arm. Now use the left upper arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Once more. Feet pointing straight. Pressurizing the feet. Spreading from the center of the chest. Now turn your left leg out completely. Turning the whole leg. Turn your right toes slightly in. At the same time, see that your right buttock is not lifting. Move it downwards towards the heel. Lift the waistline. Maintain this firm connection on your right heel as you lengthen the left side of your torso. Keep extending. Focus your attention on this left armpit. Lengthen the whole spine and then drop your hand down. You want your hand to touch. You don't want to lean down towards the whole leg. At the same time, use the top upper arm to lift the top of the chest away. So you want to use your right upper arm to lift the right side of the chest away from the left. Press your right heel and extend the spine. Look straight. Now use the top arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in. Jump and come back to standing. Once more, coming back to Samasthiti or Tadasana. Evenly press the bottom of the feet on the floor. Take the outer shoulders back. Straighten your elbows and knees straight. Virabhadrasana 2. So bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Spread the arms out from the center of the chest. Stamp the outer edges of the legs. Keep your head back abdomen back. Don't throw the front ribs forward. Draw them back to the back of the body and firmly press the heels down. Turn your right leg out completely. Turn your left toes in. Stamp the outer edge of your left foot. Spread out from the center of the chest and pressurizing the feet, go ahead and bend your front leg. You want to lower the right hip down, but you have to watch that the hip, the right buttock also descends. So lengthening the top of the buttock as you go down till your front leg is 90 degrees and then extend the arms up. Here too, the waistline turns from the right to the left and press the outer edge of your left heel. Go ahead, go down as deep as you can and then simply turn your head to gaze at your right fingertips. Remember to keep your left upper arm tight. Now pressing into the feet, inhale and come up. Relax the hands for a moment. Turn your toes facing forward again. Press the feet firmly into the mat. Stretch your arms out from the center of the chest. Turn your left leg out completely. Turn your right toes slightly in. Again, keeping the weight heavy on the heels. Stretch your right arm away. Remember to turn from the left side to the right as you begin to bend your front leg. Go down from the hips, widen your distance if you feel your knee is going beyond your ankle. At the same time, your right leg can have a tendency to bend. So straighten your right leg, lift the right waistline up, and stretch the right upper arm away. Go down with your left hip and press your left heel firmly. Don't go forward towards the toes. Now simply turn to look towards your left fingertips, but maintain your awareness, stretching your right arm away, pressing the right outer edge of the heel. Now with your next inhalation, straighten your left leg, turn your toes in, jump, and come back into standing. You can grab a block if you need for Parshvakonasana. I will take a block today. So we position our blocks behind our mat, towards the back end of the mat, and then you stay in front. Keep a little space so that when you jump, you don't knock the blocks off. So position yourself in Tadasana again. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. And extend the arms out from the center. We start in the similar way like Virabhadrasana 2. So we turn our right leg out, turn your left foot in, pressing the edge, extending the chest, keeping your abdomen back, buttocks going down, bend your front leg. And then lengthen the whole right side of your body. See if you can stretch your right waistline, right side rib chest, right armpit chest, go down as low as you can. Adjust your hand if you find this is difficult. You need to place your hand on the block so that you can press into it, move your right knee in the direction of the arm and turn from the waistline, turn from the armpit to the top shoulder. So the right knee moves to the right upper arm. As it does so, resist your right upper arm and turn from the right pelvis to the left. Turn from the right waistline to the left. Now, stretch your left arm all the way across. Don't drop your arm towards your head. Lift your upper arm. Remember the Urdhva Prasarita we did previously? You want to stretch that armpit long, keep that outer deltoid rolling in, and extend through the fingers. Don't forget about your left foot. The left outer edge of the feet have to be grounded. Now use the top left arm. Come back like you're in Trikonasana. Reach with the top arm. Inhale and come up. Now bring your hands down. Turn your toes in. Stamp the outer edges of your legs. Keep the chest open. Uttita Parshvakonasana on the left side. Once more, spread your arms out from the center of the chest, expanding. Turn your left leg out completely. Turn your right toes slightly in. Stamp the outer edge of your right heel. Take a deep inhale, and with an exhalation, bend your front leg to a 90 degree. Extend your whole left upper arm. Extend the waistline, extend the side chest, stretch the armpit down. Place your hand on the block or on the floor, what works for you. But remember to have the hand directly underneath the shoulders. Press your hand into the block. Let's take our right hand on the hip for a while. Move your left knee in the direction of your left arm. And don't let the arm go back. Resist it. And that will help you to move from the left hip up towards the right, left side of the chest towards the right. So it gives you the rotation of the chest. And then stretch your whole right arm across. Again, the upper arm is like we did Urdhva Hastasana. So that means that armpit chest has to lengthen, the upper arm is tight, and see that your chest is facing the screen, not the floor. Be strong on the outer edge of your right heel. Keep your right knee tight and straight. Now use the top arm. Lift it up just like we did in Trikonasana. Inhale and come up. Good. Turn your toes in, jump, and come back to standing. Take a breath or two just to recover, observing the breath. Normal soft inhale and exhale. Now we move into Ardha Chandrasana. It's always exciting to go into Ardha Chandrasana because there's always the challenge of, am I going to be able to balance today or not? But the more you practice, it gets better. So we can just use blocks or not. So let's do it well. I will have to shift myself slightly so I don't crash into that wall. So first, bring your hands in the center of the chest, bend your knees and spread your legs out. We start in Trikonasana. Then we turn our right leg out completely. Left toe slightly turns in. Keep the chest open. Take a deep inhale. Go down to Trikonasana. So let your chest go down because this parallel aspect of the pose remains. We are going in that direction. So if we've already lowered our center of gravity, it's much easier. Now you're already kind of bending your leg. Remember Parshvakonasana, chest was down. Now it's the shift. So that means you have to bring your hands forward and you have to bring your back leg closer. Stay with bent knees for a while, but move your arm forward because as you start to stamp your right heel, start lifting the left leg. And as a result of lifting the left leg, your right leg became straight. Take your attention to the buttocks, move them into the body and stretch the top upper arm. Extend the left inner heel and be strong on that standing leg. See if you can turn your abdomen, your chest, and reach up all the way in the direction of the ceiling. Now let's try and come down with control. So first thing is to bend that front leg, throw that back leg all the way back so you end up in Parshvakonasana, and then use the top arm to lift yourself up so you are in Trikonasana, and then inhale and come up. Okay, so turn your toes in, let's jump and come back to the center. Take a couple of recovery breaths, stand tall, reset yourself in Tadasana. Spread the bottom of the feet, pressurize the feet down evenly, right side, left side. Take the outer shoulders back, elbows straight. Observe the natural flow of breath. Ardha Chandrasana on the left side. So once more, we start in Trikonasana. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Stretch your arms out, and then from here, turn your left leg out completely, right foot in, take a deep inhale, lengthening the torso, go down. Your hand goes down, Parshvakonasana, bending your leg, and then we bring our back leg, which is the right leg, we bring it closer. Walk your left hand forward, learning to shift. But before you straighten your leg, really press your left heel. So your hand, of course, if you cannot reach the floor, there's a block, right? So you know that you can also use the block. But I'm showing you with my hand. The support of the hand is necessary. And then when you press your heel, start to stretch your right leg and lift it up. The higher you lift your leg, slowly the left leg begins to straighten. And keep the buttock in. Keep the outer hips firm. And then reach up with that top arm. Press down with the bottom arm. That will stabilize you. And keep lengthening the inner right leg. Turn your abdomen from your left to your right. Stretch your right upper arm. Now let's come down. So we're going to bend our leg, Throw that right leg back. Straighten the front leg. And then use the top arm. Inhale and come up. Turn your toes in and jump and come back to the center. Good, well done. Bring your big toes close. Again, we are back in Samasthiti. Recover your breath. Press the bottom of the feet down. Take your outer shoulders back and stretch your elbows. Extend your fingers downwards in the direction of the floor. Observe the breath. Normal inhale and exhale. Now we'll do Uttanasana, a little bit like a recovery. So you know by now, if you have tighter hamstrings, please use blocks or even a chair if necessary. And the main point of these poses is to keep your legs straight and really learn how to roll from the pelvis, the buttocks. So for now, we are going to go a little bit wider today. So separate your feet. You have the narrow edge of your mat. So your little toe and the outer edge of the heel line up on the side. So that gives you a straight line indication, right? So I can do that for both sides, and that way my legs are straight. Now take your attention, this is the same Tarasana work, so we can't have our abdomen and hips forward in this manner. We have to learn to move the abdomen back, our thighs back, and really press the heels. So there's a resistance here. At the same time, draw the buttocks down so you have a good firm connection of the hip and the leg. Now lift your waistline, lift your chest, keep your hands on the hips for today, elongating your torso as you go down. Don't drop your head too quickly. In fact, keep your head lifted and go from the hip. Then you can place your hands on the block and you can stay more upright, or if your hands can reach the floor, you can stay on your fingertips. This is also like Ardha Chandrasana. Please bring your hands directly underneath the shoulders. Roll the upper arms, lengthen the torso, and then release the abdomen, release the chest, and finally the head. Go step by step. We don't want to shorten our spine or round our back. And if that's happening, you need to come up a little bit higher. This is a good stretch for the back of the legs. Definitely opens up the back of the knees, sends circulation into the ankles, the hips, the knees. Makes the feet more active. So evenly press your feet, spread the back of your thighs, and release the head down. Now to come up, you have to be extra strong in your legs. So once more, press the bottom of the feet into the mat. Bring your hands on your hips. Lift your head up. Lengthen the torso. Keep looking forward, pressing into the legs without bending those legs. Inhale and come up. Now we go for Parshvottanasana. So once more, you can keep your blocks ready to your right side and stand facing forward in Samasthiti. Bring your big toes close. Take your outer shoulders back, elbows extended. Now bring your hands in the center. Bend your knees. Jump and spread your legs out. Keep the arms extended. Firmly press the feet down. Let's start with our hands on the hip. Turn your right leg out completely. Turn your left toes in. You know you have to turn your foot much more. It's a 60-degree turn. Stamp the outer edge of the foot and then start to revolve from the back of the thigh, the hip. Keep the weight heavy on the back leg. In fact, you can spread your legs a little bit more. My distance was a little shorter. So that helps you to really extend the leg back, and that gives you more freedom on the movement of the pelvis. Press your right leg. Stay back with the torso. Keep rotating as you go forward. Your head up, chest up, stamping the back leg. And then you can adjust depending on what is needed for you. Either your hands remain on the block, but at the same time, you want to observe that your right big toe is pressing, right hip is going back, left back of the thigh is turning to move the left hip forward. Look forward, chest open. Now, you may go down if your legs are straight. Then, maintaining the straightness of the leg, first revolve the abdomen from your left to your right. And just like in Uttanasana, we have to go in 3 stages. We have to layer our lower belly down first, then the middle chest, and then finally the head. The head goes last, because if we take our head down in this manner, you can see how the back is rounding, and our purpose is to extend and elongate the spine. So just go to the level where your front body remains long and your legs remain straight. But go ahead and release your head down. Now to come up, begin to first lift your head up, adjust your hands, place them on the block so your torso is lifted. Strongly press the outer edge of your heel, press the front big toe, stamp your legs, bring your hands on the hip, inhale and come up. Okay, let's take the blocks to the other side. So moving your blocks to your left, and I'll come back to the base position. Once more, standing tall, opening the bottom of the feet, taking your shoulders back, elbows straight. Parshvottanasana on the left side. Bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. Have a good distance. Yeah, even last time I had to change my distance, so make sure your legs are spread as much as you did in the previous poses. Now bring your hands on the hips. Please turn your left leg out. First turning your left leg, then you turn your right toes in. Keep the weight heavy on the heel. Try to really stamp that. Start turning from the back of the thigh. And also watchful of the right waistline, that the hip doesn't go forward. Lengthen the right front waistline. Keep the right hip lifted so that you can work more by turning. At the same time, keep your left big toe pressing down. Pressurize that. That really activates the leg. If the legs are loose, our hips are kind of just unstable. And that's what the main training is, to get your legs to hold your hip in place. So press the feet down, start turning from the abdomen, turning from the chest as you revolve from the back of the thigh. Keep looking forward. Remember, the head is the last part that has to go down. As you pressurize the feet, bring your hands down directly underneath the shoulders. Press the hands on the block. Stretch and lengthen your spine forward. At the same time, don't let the hip come forward. How? You take your right thigh bone back. Press the heel, but stretch your right waistline long, away from the pelvis. And looking forward, now turn from the right to the left, right rib to the left, belly down, chest down, finally the head down. And then let your head release for a couple of breaths, but keep straightening those legs, knees straight, especially the front leg. And if you feel it's bending, it's a wise choice to come up a little bit higher. Now look up. Keep the back leg firm. You can adjust your hands on the block. And then keep the weight heavy on your right heel. And with an inhalation, come back up. Great. Now let's move the blocks out. We are going to go for Prasarita Padasana. So once more, stand on the center of the mat, joining your big toes, taking your outer shoulders back. And today we are going to move from concave to taking the head down as well. So bring your hands in the center, bend your knees, jump and spread your legs out. And I have mentioned this before, it's a good idea to keep the back edge of the mat as a guideline for your feet. So I line up my heels, so then I also have room to place my hands on the mat. So pressurize the legs firmly, press the outer edges of the heel, lift your inner ankles, draw the thighs into the hip, and keep your inner knees moving out, outer shins moving in. Keep this kind of firm action of the outer hips moving into the socket. And then keep pressing down, just like in Parshvottanasana. Keep your head back, lengthen the waistline away, front ribs away, shoulders back as you go down. Keep looking forward. Don't drop your head too quickly. Then again, Ardha Chandrasana, Uttanasana. we bring our hands directly underneath the shoulders. You can stay on your fingertips. Also, the distance between the hands is the same as your shoulders. Rotate your biceps forward, draw the shoulders down the back, lengthen the torso forward. Press the outer edges of the heels. Now you can stay here, or if you're able to, walk your hands back in the direction of the feet. So you walk your hands back. Once more, spread the palms, lift the chest. Now start to look forward. So your abdomen grows long. Keep the elbows close. So I bring my outer elbows in, and then I start bending my elbows as I let my belly go down, chest go down, and head go down. It doesn't matter whether your head actually goes and touches the floor or not, though that is the end of the pose. But at this point, you want to see that your legs remain straight. So if that means you have to stay higher, please do so. And you can walk your hands more in the direction of the feet. If you have the openness of the legs, hug your elbows in and learn to press the hands to lift the shoulders as you release your belly down, chest down, crown of the head down. Press the legs firmly, keep lifting the shoulders, keep your elbows connected, bringing them into this, rolling them in. Don't let your elbows go out. You want your elbows in, lifting the shoulders, pressing the hands, and being on the crown of the head or in that direction. Keep the legs stacked. Now, press into the hands, begin to lift your head up. Walk your hands further forward. And it's a good idea sometimes to actually walk your legs in, so it's easier to come up. Press into the feet, inhale and come up. So that concludes our standing poses for today. And now we are going to go down to the floor for the seated poses. So you can take a blanket. So I'm just going to show you the way we can work with a blanket. In fact, we will need a blanket for this. So we need a blanket, and you are going to sit facing forward in Upavistha Konasana. So sit on the floor and spread your legs out wide. Have a quick look at your feet. This is important that your toes are pointing up. Then place your hands alongside the body, your knee, your ankle, your thigh, all in one line. So not letting the feet roll out. You want to line up the shin bone, the knee, the thigh on both your legs. Press the heels firmly down. Press the calf muscle down, the back of the knee down, the thigh down. And as we pressurize the legs downwards towards the floor, keeping the toes extended, lifted up towards the ceiling, use your hands to press into the floor. Lift your waistline, lift the side armpit chest. Take your outer shoulders back and move the shoulder blades into the back. And usually what happens is we start losing our legs. So that's where a lot of effort is needed. You have to press your heels, press the back of those thighs, and really stretch your inner legs away from the pelvis as you lift your abdomen, lift your chest, shoulders back, head looking straight. You should feel that your thighs are firm. So if it's loose, then you're not pushing your thighs down enough. So press your thighs down until you feel that the muscle gets pulled into the hip on both your legs and have the toes pointing up. Press the back of the thighs down on the floor. Stretch from the inner legs to the inner ankles. Keep a firm connection, all these outer shins, outer hips in. Upavistha Konasana. Now from Upavistha Konasana, we are going to go for Swastikasana, which is just a simple cross-legged seated pose. However, we do it in a particular way, and that way you also learn. So let's start by sitting in Dandasana. So you are seated in Dandasana with your legs straight. We start by bending our right leg. Take your hand, place it behind the back of your right knee, move your right knee back, and slip your right foot underneath your left thigh. So I bring my foot, it's a bit flexed, not just flat, underneath my left thigh. Then I grab the back of my left leg and I slip the left foot underneath my right knee. And then both the feet are supporting the outer thighs. The crossing of the shin is more in line with the center of your pelvis. So this is where you need to cross. Often it can be loose cross, like a lot of us can sit this way, but this doesn't give us the same effect. If you notice, one of my knees are up, my hip is up, and that means my pelvis is not level. So that is why we make our best effort to actually cross at the shins, at the center line of the pelvis, and then you support your feet underneath the knees. Now, it can be the case that when you sit in this manner, your knees are quite lifted higher. So in that case, you need more height. So I'm going to get a bolster and demo that as well, because it's necessary that when you attempt these seated poses, that you don't sink your weight into the pelvis. We are doing this all day long. So we have to learn how the legs fit into the socket, which helps us to lift the pelvis, and it also helps us to lift the torso. So for that, we will need a little bit more height. So I'm going to take 2 or 3 blankets. And if you don't have blankets, Iyengar Yoga blankets at home, maybe you have a bolster or even a couple of cushions, you need more height. So for people who find that their knees are definitely, when they cross their legs, their groins are tight, their knees are higher than the hip, then you need to sit higher. So let's do the left side seated higher. So again, I move my hands underneath my buttocks. I move the flesh out. I learn to sit on the front of the sitting bones. Now let's bend the left leg. So grab the back of your left leg. Move the left knee out. You want to slip your left foot underneath your right thigh. And then you bring your right leg folded and try to pull the foot just underneath your left thigh. So that, again, we are crossing at the shin. The knees will go down a little bit more if you sit higher, if you are tighter in the groins. Now let's continue from here, which is the next pose, which is Swastikasana and Parvatasana. Parvatasana is just similar to Baddhanguliasana when we do standing, but now we are doing it from a seated position. So stretch your hands straight in front of you. Take your right thumb on top of your left. Interlace your hands. Turn the palms out. Keep the thumbs touching. Spread the palms of the hand. So try to see if you're going to open the palms of your hand. You'll be surprised that actually stretching this affects your shoulders, because sometimes our palms can be quite tight. So make an attempt to really spread the palms of the hand. Have a good interlace between the hands, touching the thumbs. Now stretch your upper arms and keeping the spreading connection of the palms, go ahead and lift and stretch your arms up. Lift the side chest, lift the abdomen up, extend up, roll those outer shoulders in, move the dorsal spine in, and stretch the armpits up. Press the thighs down. Now slowly release. Bring your hands down. Let's change the crossing of the legs. So let's do that again. Swastikasana. Legs straight. Let's go with the right leg this time. Bend the right leg. Place it underneath your left thigh. Bend your left and place the foot underneath your right thigh. So the feet support the thighs, and at the same time, you're crossing more at the center of your pelvis and not out in any way. Now, from here, let's stretch the hands again. This time, we take our left thumb on top of the right, interlace the hands, extending the palms out, outer upper arms in. With an inhalation, go ahead and stretch your arms up. And once you're up in the pose, roll your outer deltoids forward, stretch the armpit chest, stretch the upper arms, have a good grip with the fingers, lift the waistline up and away from the pelvis. So this is how we're teaching our spine to become more mobile, because we often get tight in different sections of the spine. So we have to learn to lift our right side of the chest, the left side of the chest equally. Now slowly release and bring your hands down. And we're also going to do Virasana. So if you remember, we did this already. So you can come forward, move your feet slightly out, hold the back of your thighs, place your hands in between the knee and the calf muscle, roll the calf muscle out, bring the feet in so the buttock descends down between the feet and your outer shins come in. As you use your hands, press into the tops of the feet, lift your waistline, lift your chest, keeping the shoulders back. And you also know that if you're unable to sit in this way, you can lift your hips up and sit higher. So you can use a block. So I quickly show you on the block. So you can use the block and you can sit higher on the block, either raising it higher up in this way or the middle height. So that is Virasana. Now from Virasana, we can also look at Gomukhasana. And here we are just looking at the leg bit. We are not looking at the arm, which is we will address next class. So we can do it first on the floor, and then I'll just use the block support to show you the way you can assist to lift your pelvis higher. So first start by straightening your legs, keeping your legs straight. And then we swing our left leg underneath our right hip, right? So you bring your foot in this way, and then you get your right leg to cross over. And then you try and bring your feet back, long, extended, pressing the feet down. You're crossing at your knees. You're hugging your outer hips in, and you're pressing the tops of the feet down, lifting your chest and your waistline. So again, keeping a compactness in this manner. Again, if it's not possible for you to sit on the floor, then you can use your block and you simply need to sit higher, right? So then you can adjust your seat. So let's do the left side the other way. So your legs are straight. I'm sitting a little higher, and then I bring my right foot underneath and actually point that foot back so it extends. And then I bring the leg across, bringing the feet pointing back. So yes, it is a much more complex position of the legs, the knees, the hip. So it takes time to practice. You are attempting to get your knees in line. You're getting your calf muscle, the shins to extend, and keeping your hips level, stretching your shin bone back as you lift your pelvis and chest. So that is Gomukhasana on a seated position. And now we are also going to look at Bharadvajasana. So you can move the block out. And first, let me show you the one without the support. You can also use blankets, by the way, but a block's kind of simple, so perhaps that's not a bad way to start when you're learning something new. So first, you need to move your feet over to your left side. So you take your feet over to the left side, and the left ankle rests on the arch of the foot. So let me turn around and show you what I mean. So this is your sole of the foot. The ankle rests on this. And what happens here, and also you need to make sure your heel, you're not sitting on that heel. You need to move it out so you're able to sit with both your buttocks down. Now, there's another thing that tends to happen for most of us. It's very rare that our hips are completely level in this position. So which is why it's a good idea to get another extra support. So there's a higher left hip here, and I'm going to use a block to elevate my right hip so that now both my hips are level. Your shin bone is extending down. You're pressing the ankle onto the arch of the foot. Your knees are pointing straight and they're in line. And this is the leg position of Bharadvajasana. And let's do it on the other side. Yeah, so let's take the block again. Straighten out your legs. And bend your legs over to your right side. This time the right ankle rests on the arch of your left foot. I grab the block again. I lift my left hip up. So it's lifted and it matches my right now. I can descend that right outer hip down, press the thighs down and evenly lift both sides of the waistline. So again, the tilting of the pelvis means that one side of my spine is collapsing or tighter. And the more we levelize our pelvis, we can lift both sides of our spine evenly. So all these poses are very useful in getting your posture correct and a much more easeful way of carrying yourself through your day. Urdhva Prasarita Ekapada Sirsasana. So in this pose, we position ourselves in Urdhva Sirsasana first. And the difference is we learn to walk as close as we can go towards the wall or towards the hips and lift one leg up. And that is the pose. So let's look at our hand action again. So you interlace your hands again to see that you remember that we clasp quite tightly, but we always keep a gap. So the semicircle, because that's where your head is going to go. So I'm just going to do the demo first. So again, it's preferable that you don't do and watch, because that's not possible because your head will be down. So it's best that you simply watch this section first. You can pause it and then practice on your own. So just watch. I've placed a blanket and a mat close to a wall. So I just want to feel safe and I know my head is not going to go anywhere. So the interlace of the hands goes right against the wall. One reason being, when we place our hands on the floor, and we have studied this before, when our head starts pushing, the hand starts collapsing, right? But now that we have a wall, so if I take my hands all the way close to the wall, I interlace and I get my knuckles into the wall, then I have that wall to resist my knuckles so they don't drop. You're going to bring your elbows directly underneath the shoulders, interlace your hands, create a dome shape in the semicircle with your palms of the hand, press your forearms down, the middle of the forearm down, and place the crown of your head. Again, the wall helps us to teach us not to take our back into the wall. You want to keep your shoulders lifting. And again, you can take it in stages. You can simply stay here, practice pressing your forearms down, lifting your shoulders, lifting your upper arms, and pressing your forearms down. Now, if you're going to come up a little higher, continue the work of the forearms pressing down. Bring your knees a little closer towards the chest for this one and lift your legs up. Then start walking in. So we want to line up as much as possible. Also, the wall is a good feedback to see that we're not taking our back into the wall. We're actually just moving our legs, but lifting our back and moving the back away from the wall. Now, stretch your legs, lift your heels, tighten your legs. We've been working hard on many standing poses, so by now you know you have to keep your legs straight. So keeping the lift of the spine, start to lift your right leg up. Roll the right thigh, stretch your right leg long. And as you start to come a little closer, see if you can keep lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. You can extend. And this is how the leg starts to become light. Yeah, but that takes time. But at the moment, you're not bothered about that. You can come down, rest, and then we start again. So interlace your hands, press the forearms, place the crown of your head down, shoulders are lifting, pressing the forearms, start to walk your legs in, lift your left leg up, stretch your leg. However, you do have to come as close as you can. So try, when you lift your left leg, lift your right heel, lift your right hip, stretch your whole leg up, moving it in the direction of the wall till this other leg starts to come up. Again, we are not bothered with the leg comes up or not, but keep stretching the top leg. Now come down and rest. Now you can join me after having watched this. So let's repeat this one more time. Interlacing the hands, placing the knuckles against the wall. Keep your elbows firm, pressing into the support. Press your forearms down. Get the crown of your head to rest on the mat. Lift the shoulders.
Lift your knees up, walk a little closer, move the back away from the body, lift your shoulders, lift your belly, lift your chest, stretch your right leg up, extend it up as much as you can. Bring your right leg down, lift your left leg up, stretch it from the inner leg to the inner heel. Keep lifting your shoulders. Again, right leg up, press your forearms, lift the shoulders, left leg up, stretch your left inner leg, make your left leg straight, right leg straight. Now slowly bring the legs down, bend your knees, and come down. Just rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. You can keep your hands behind, you can keep your head just resting, and be quiet here. Now start to lift your head up and come up. Now we are going to do Adho Mukha Svanasana, and that you know, but this connection of what we just did is very clear in Adho Mukha Svanasana. So let us have a look at it. So you come into Tarasana, bend your knees, spread the palms of your hand, press it firmly down, look forward, start to walk your legs back, shoulders back, and take a good distance. Yeah, so it's important we take a good enough distance between the hands and the legs. So when you press the hands down, you lift your elbows, you lift your shoulders, and you stretch the side of the body. And here too, the legs, right? So you have to spread the back of the thighs, move the outer hips back. That's the outer hip. It can tend to come forward this way, and that's what causes the rounding of the back. So we have to hug the outer hips in, move the outer hips back, stretching the waistline, and move the calf muscle down towards the heel. That's what lengthens the spine. So this is the extension of the spine. And the more the thighs fit into the socket and they move back, that's when you can use the legs to connect to the hips. So thighs tight, moving the outer hips back, elongate the torso. Keep the elbows firm, press the hands, stretch your legs. Now we go from here to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. So try to come up like you did before. Remember, we lifted our heels and we came to the ball mount of our feet. Press it strongly, tighten your thighs. Try to keep the firmness as if you're resisting your thighs from dropping to the floor as you lower your hips down slowly. So resist, spread the back of the thighs and lower your pelvis down. Once you feel you've reached your limit, roll the outer shoulders, move the shoulder blades in and stretch the inner legs long. Look straight, head slightly back. And then once more, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Tighten your knees, elbows straight, spread the back of your thighs. Stretch your armpits. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Legs tight, stretching your inner legs, lowering your pelvis, shoulders back, head back, chest forward. Lift the back of your thighs. Adho Mukha Svanasana. And now bend your knees and come down and rest. Now start to lift yourself up. And of course, we come to the finishing poses, and that is Sarvangasana. So once more, please get all your props, and we are going to do Sarvangasana. So we are ready to do Sarvangasana, and today we do Sarvangasana, Halasana, Karnapindasana. So I hope you got all your props ready, and then you can lay down, adjust your head, place it on the blanket, bring your shoulders in, make sure it's well within. You can press your hands down to support your back, bring your knees in and lift and take your legs over your head. We start in Halasana. Then you can hold the edges of your mat, which is why I've overlapped the mat over. Then I roll, tuck my shoulders in, I stretch, and I lift my back. So I do my best to lift this back up, then keeping the palms rotating up, pressing your forearms, stretching your hands, lifting, then bend your elbows, really sticking the elbows down on the mat, and then lift your back. If you're a little lower on your back, gets harder. So you need to try and get your hands as high up into your upper back as you can get it. And often, if you find it's not possible to do, increase the height of the blanket, because it's important that your hands go lower down towards the upper chest, then stay very low on the lower back. So it helps you to lift. And now we can take our legs up. It's a bit like this, right? We did for stretching one leg up, the other leg up. And now stay in the pose. Keep your legs firm. Move the buttock in. Spread the back of your thighs and stretch your inner legs. The legs really have to get strong in this pose, because otherwise the whole weight of our body collapses. And then we kind of get easily tired, or it causes pressure on our neck. So that is why it's okay as a beginner to hold it for shorter periods of time, but keep stretching your legs, lengthen your thighs, lift the buttock, lift the waistline, press your elbows. If your elbows are slipping, that means one is going to the right, to the left, you must use a belt. And I think I have already demoed how to use a belt, so you can refer to that video. We just hold simple Sarvangasana straight legs for today. We can work up to 2 to 3 minutes. Keep stretching your legs, press your elbows, lift the back. Knees straight, heels extending, buttocks lifting. Don't drop the buttock down. You want to keep lifting the spine. It is hard work, but that's what makes our spine stronger. Let's just do 30 seconds more. Keep stretching your legs. And now from here, we are going to take our legs down all the way to the floor. You can go one leg at a time and be in Halasana. Again, if you remember what we spoke about in Urdhva Prasarita, the outer hips, they tend to drop, they sink our spine. So you have to lift these outer hips up. And it's this action which helps us to lengthen the spine. So you have to learn to do that. So the more you move the front of the thighs up, opening the back of the legs, the more you elongate both sides of the spine, extending, then the extension remains, and you can be here with your hands on the back. We still stay active. Lift your outer hips, focus and look at your outer hips. It's very easy to see here. Keep lifting it, thighs tight, drawing the thighs into the hip, and lifting the back of the knees, the heels. Now let's bend the legs. We come to Karnapindasana. So bring your knees on either side of the ears. Hold on to your feet. Again, move the hips more over towards the feet. Stay quiet. And now slowly use your hands on your back, supporting your back. Lower yourself down. Just stay here for a few moments. We still have a couple more poses to finish off with, but just be here. Now slowly begin to lift yourself up and come up. So we will open up our mat and we will move these other props away. You can keep 2 blankets for now because we will be doing 2 more forward extensions, that is Janu Sirsasana and Paschimottanasana. So you'll just need a mat and a few blankets. So the last 3 poses before we go into Shavasana, we're going to do another new pose called Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. So here we lie down on our back and we lift our legs straight up. So again, these are the poses that makes our legs more strong, more intelligent. We learn to see how to move the thighs into the hip joint, how to straighten our knees, how to straighten the legs, and work from that movement. So the pose is this. You lie down on your back and you have your hips level. You can bend your knees and you want your knees and your hips in line as you straighten your legs. So your legs are straight up. You don't bring your legs close towards your torso. You move your thigh bones back. So your outer hips, remember what we just worked on, the outer hips descend downward and back. So that helps you to make the legs really strong and straighten your heels. Stretch from the calf muscle to the heels. Keep drawing the thighs down into the hip and keep the space. Don't bring your legs close or lift your buttocks up. And if your knees are bending, you can also separate your legs and have your legs a little bit forward. You want to keep your thighs back. You want to draw your thighs down to the hip. Now, what if you're unable to keep your legs like this? Then you take a belt and you simply bend your legs and you do the whole thing, except the belt adds an extra support. So especially if you're tighter in your hamstrings or your knees or your hips, then you might need a belt. And be conscious, however, not to lift your buttocks or your sacrum. That stays down and you straighten your legs, pull the belt so it gives you a little support and leverage, and keep moving your thighs down into the hip, straightening your knees, moving the front of the thigh to touch the back of the hamstring, stretch your calf muscle to the heel, and feet kind of similar to Tadasana. So we're working on straightening our legs and working the strength of both the right leg and left leg equally. If after a while you feel that you can let go of the belt, you can try what it feels like to keep your legs straight up. Your hands can stay down, palms facing down, and extending through the heels. So that helps to straighten the legs. Now bend your knees and come down. Now we go for Janu Sirsasana. So sit in Dandasana. You can use a couple of blankets. I'm going to show with the blankets, and we're at the end of the class. So these poses are meant to cool us down, to calm us down. So you take as much height as necessary. And let's start with Janu Sirsasana. So sitting in Dandasana, keep your legs straight, bend your right knee, bring your right heel close to the right inner thigh, keep your left leg straight. You want your right leg to press down, lift your right waistline up, turn from the right waistline to the left, stretch your arms up. Remember the Urdhva Prasarita work, the thigh goes into the hip and it presses down. The toes are up, extending through the feet. Maintain the lift of the spine. Stretch your armpits, stretch your whole side chest as you go down. Also, in Uttanasana, we did say we don't want to take our head down first. We want to lift, take our abdomen down, our chest down, and then finally the head down. Keep gazing forward and then release your head down. Now inhale and come up, and let's switch sides. Back to Dandasana. I'll do the other side with the belt so you know. Bend your left leg. Bring the heel close to your left inner thigh. Keep your right leg straight. We worked in Upavistha Konasana, pressing the calf muscle down, the thighs down, the outer hip down, the knees down. The leg is straight. Then you can keep your belt ready. Reach up with your arms in Urdhva Prasarita, extending. Keep the rotation of the chest. Lift the right waistline, the left waistline as you pressurize the legs down. Keep extending, going forward. And then you can use the belt so it helps you stay lifted. If your back is rounded, it is a better idea that you keep the lift of the spine. You can slightly close your eyes. And if you're going down, then you have to take your belly down first, then your chest down, and then finally the head down. And please note in the process, your leg doesn't start to bend. Extend and stretch your leg. Now inhale and come up. Take the belt out. Paschimottanasana. So both legs are straight. Press your thighs down. Move the outer hips down. Lift and stretch your arms up. Lift the waistline. Lift the side chest. Lengthen and lift the spine up. Try to keep the lift and length of your spine as you go forward. Keep extending forward, reaching forward, and then grab the feet or use the belt. Either way is good. Lift up, and then finally, remember what we did in Urdhva Prasarita Padasana? We wanted to really stretch the legs. Stretch your legs and lift your waistline, and then go forward from the abdomen. Lift the front ribs, go forward, try to look forward, and then finally with your head down. And then you can stay quiet for a few moments. Relax the shoulders. Keep working your legs straighter and straighter. That helps to really lengthen the spine. Move the sacrum, move the chest forward, press the thighs down. Now inhale and come up. And finally, it is time for Shavasana. So you can just move all your props away. You can use one blanket if you wish for your head position. Just place it for your head. And you want it to come all the way close to the neck. So we just use one. So I keep one away. Again, remember to position yourself carefully on the center of the mat. Even Shavasana is a pose. It is not to be ignored how you come into it or come out of it. Use your hands, lift your head up. Take the outer shoulders down. Take the upper arms a little bit away from the body so the sides of your chest are free. The palms are important because if your hands are rolling in, your shoulder is rolling in. But if you turn the palms down, you let the thumb drop, the shoulder gets pulled down. So that opens the chest. And then slowly you can straighten your legs, letting the right leg go to the right, the left to the left. And then close your eyes and be quiet for a few moments. Completely surrendering the arms, the legs. And of course, since you're at home, you can stay as long as you wish. We'll just stay here for a couple of minutes. Best is 5 to 6 minutes. Completely surrendering into the floor, relaxing the face, the jaw, the throat. Now, slowly, we are going to come out. So first start by softly opening your eyes, just taking in the room. Then bend your right arm, your left arm. Bend your right knee, your left knee. Turn yourself, rolling over to the right side. Press your hands on the floor. Let your chest come up, then your head comes up, and then your back upright in a seated position. And you can come up into an upright position. Thank you very much, and wishing you a good day wherever you are. Outtake. That's Leo. Oh, he just was crunching all through Shavasana. Did you hear that?